Welcome to the Small Business Podcast series, where every week we are interviewing small business owners that support the small business community. And this week, we take it to the visual side of marketing. The best photographers in the world are great at one thing, and that is telling a story through the pictures that they take. And we found a great storyteller today. I want to welcome Kate Cherry, who's the founder of Kate Cherry Photography. Kate, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, give us a little intro as to your business and how what was the inspiration behind going down and getting into photography?
Oh, such a great question. So, I founded Kate Cherry Photography in 2011. So, I have been in business now just a little over 14 years. I've had my business in three different markets because we have moved several times across the years. Um, and I have done a little bit of everything. The driving force behind me starting a photography business was exactly as you just said. I'm a storyteller at heart. And more so than anything, I enjoy bringing out the best in people. My business really started as a portrait photography business where I worked with young families and did a little bit of everything, honestly, everything between senior photography to newborns to weddings to everything. And then I started to niche down, figuring out exactly what I really loved and honed in on weddings, newborns, and seniors for a time. And then about 2018 started pivoting over into branding photography. And I started working with small business owners and just fell in love. Honestly, like being able to tell a story in their business and helping them to relate to other people who they're trying to get in contact with, who they're trying to reach with their marketing efforts, that was at the heart of what I really started to do. So now I have two sides to my business. I have a portrait business where I've kind of said goodbye to weddings for a bit, only just because they're so time consuming. I love them. They're beautiful, but they are very time consuming. And there's so many great photographers out there who do just phenomenal work with them. I said, okay, I'm going to say goodbye to that for a bit, and really focus in on doing like my seniors and my newborns. But then I'm also going to have this side of business photography where I really speak to the heart of my business owners and dive deep into what it is that drives them, ultimately creating a message through my work, through photography that resonates with their ideal client.
It is such a critical element. Some people don't realize the power of imagery that can come through as you're taking pictures, and there's definitely a specific eye that it takes. As I said in the intro, the great photographers of the world know how to tell a story through the pictures they take. And you definitely, your website is amazing. It
Thank you.
definitely gave me a ton of information as I was building the prior to the podcast. What has been one of your proudest moments working with some of the business owners that you've worked with so far?
Great. Probably watching them see their brand come alive. What I found is we can say a lot of different things, but as you mentioned, like, and there's the old adage, pictures say 1,000 words. And it can't be more true than that. But the thing is that it's both of those coupled together. So I have found with powerful imagery and powerful messaging, putting those two pieces together, that's what's going to start driving your brand home with that target client who you're after. One client in particular comes to mind who she was looking to have a following on Facebook, well, more so on Instagram, some on Facebook, but really on Instagram. And I remember when we started photographing her, like what I do with all of my branding clients is we go through an extensive questionnaire and I go and ask questions about not only just their colors and like the particulars of their business, but I ask a lot of questions about their why. What got you here? Who is it that you're trying to reach, and why is it important that you reach them? Those kind of questions. And when she started answering those, we started developing a photography session that not only had beautiful images, but really spoke to that message and to a lot of the different particulars that she answered within that questionnaire. So we could hone her message toward specific groups of people instead of just trying to advertise to the masses. And when we did that, not only did we have a phenomenal time photographing, and we laughed and we had, I can't even tell you, it was like a couple hours worth of photography, but we went to all these different places. We had different outfits, we had different just ideas and things, and I loved how creative she was. But watching her business grow, especially over the succession of several years, I ended up doing at least 6 different sessions with her. I may end up doing one more this year. Um, but she told me, she was said, I never enjoyed getting my picture taken until I had a session with you. She said, "I don't know what it is, Kate, but you just bring the best out of me, and I just have the best time with you." And I was like, "That's music to my ears, and you just made my heart so happy. Yes, let's keep doing this and let's make magic together." And watching her following grow, I think she started out with something like 2,000 followers when I first met her. She's close to 20,000 now, and seeing how she's used my images interspersed with all of her marketing efforts through her website, through her Instagram posts, through her newsletters, like all of it has been really, really just satisfying to me of like, yes, I am cheering for you behind the scenes and I completely understand like who you're trying to go for. I love how creative she is with the images and like coupling them with her messaging and all of it. But that was the power of it, right? Like it wasn't just words on a page. It wasn't just, I mean, don't get me wrong, video is super powerful, but like coming on and like being live, but it was taking her message, coupling it with photography and videography, and putting all of that together that made her message resonate with so many different people.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to unpack inside of that conversation because there's the elements of if you listen to how Kate responded to her client, but
Mhm.
understanding there's the why behind for you if your listeners out there, you're listening to this, it's the why behind the client you serve. And so we have two layers here. You have Kate serving the client, and we have the client of Kate serving their customer and learning, getting into a relationship with a marketing person or in this case, a photographer, where they're after your best interest for your clients and and really diving into your why and how you serve is creates a phenomenal spark that then trickles on to success inside of your business. Kate, that is fantastic to hear about, and congratulations on
Yeah,
such a great success and growing somebody's following. It's not a small feat to grow any kind of a social following these days. There's a very competitive world. Um,
absolutely.
what?
Absolutely.
Let's be real. You didn't start your business to feel stuck, overwhelmed, or bored out of your mind. But yet, here you are, spinning, stalled, or just chasing every shiny object just to stay motivated. And I know exactly how you feel because I used to do the same thing. But that's why I built the Momentum community for founders like you. It's for people who are ready to get serious, simplify, and build a business that actually moves forward. It uses peer accountability, and it's what I used to be able to grow my business successfully and have a great exit. Does it sound like something you need? Click the link in the description below and let's have a conversation. Enjoy the rest of the show. What would you say in the world of business photography or small business owner photography? What would you say differentiates your approach from others?
I would say that the different approach largely is the process I take my clients through. A lot of photographers who I know are brilliant at what they do in the way of making a beautiful image that's all technically correct. While that's important, I think it is equally important to make sure that we do the extensive questionnaire that I have with all of my clients to make sure that I understand through their eyes how they really want their business to grow, to reach and affect a target client. Without that knowledge and know how, I would not know how to approach a session. And I would just say, okay, well, let's come and take this beautiful headshot, or maybe we can get you behind a desk. But honestly, if that is not how my client actually acts or what would resonate well with their target client, then those images are not going to be effective. So my goal and hopeful that I would be able to, help them with their business endeavors, my goal is to give them a set of images that actually means something, that actually does something, and that their investment with me serves long beyond our time together, and that they don't end up in a drawer somewhere, but instead they end up being useful. They end up being useful through social media, the newsletters, all of the things that they want to use them for, even print material. I mean, as far as like the images I take, they could even be used for books, and they have been. They can be used for billboards. They can be used for collateral materials that you're handing out at a fair, or different marketing pieces. And the uses of them can go vast and wide. And so my goal, and one of the questions that I ask all of my clients, is how do you anticipate using these? Where are the holes right now in your business where you feel like you need those gaps met? And how can I come alongside of you, talk out a strategy, and figure out a way to make sure that those holes are filled so that you can then have a prosperous business?
Wow, that is very powerful. We, the in the podcast and a lot of the previous episodes, we've
Mhm.
talked a lot with marketing agencies, and and knowing that the marketing companies have been heavily disrupted by AI. AI can't really, I mean, they can fake images. We
They
know
can.
that, but they're not really going to disrupt physical imagery. However, there is different AI that is being utilized, and I don't know if you can talk much about it, the um but what does the future of photography with AI look like?
Oh, that's such a fabulous question. I am in the throes of AI as we speak and figuring out exactly what you just asked. Um, I think there always is going to have to be a human element there, because we as humans are intuitive and computers are not. As much as we can teach them to try to be intuitive, we're just missing that little bit of humanness, if you will. Making sure that we understand not only our client's perspective, but also their target audience's perspective, right? So putting those two pieces together to make the puzzle come together and become effective, I think is critical. Where AI can step in though and make our job a little easier, we use it for editing purposes. We can also use it for culling purposes, and we could even potentially use it for ideas. And so, like, if we were to use, I don't know, ChatGPT for an example, and we were to put in an idea of like target audience, and we were to put in an idea of, what kind of message is important to us, it may prompt us with different ideas that we could try. As far as putting images together, I wouldn't rely on AI just yet to do that, only because I've seen some of the results, and some of them are quite comical, to be quite frank. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that AI can have a place in the photography industry. Do I think it can replace it? Not quite. I think that we still definitely need that human piece to it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the cool things that, from a hardware perspective from AI, is that some of the nicer cameras are utilizing it inside of autofocus, and that has been, um, so it makes it much better from a software perspective to for focusability and less post production editing required because of its unique abilities that can be used. Um, and that's very much very, very technical on it, but that's
Absolutely.
AI is a tool that can help uh, anybody continue to progress forward and paying attention to it, and it always becomes a topic of conversation. Um,
Absolutely.
Kate, is there any other elements to photography is that small business owners just like, is there anything in the inside of there that they don't think about? Or is there a commonality where when you're talking with a business owner, you always run into this same problem?
Great, great question. I would say, in working with business owners, and this is true across the board of photography, even with my portrait clients, my families and such who I work with, there's an element of psychology that I think often goes misunderstood or even missed in the photography world. I've met a lot of photographers across all the different states that we've been in, and some are amazing at this. Some are so amazing at this, and some I think have a little bit of room to grow. And I know that because I've experienced it being a client myself. So when I say that, most people do not enjoy having a camera thrust in their face and then they suddenly have to be on, right? It's uncomfortable. Most people don't like it. So where that element of psychology comes in is truly bringing out the best in people. And that is a nuance that has to be somewhat intuitive, but also has to come with years of experience and practice. It's not something that you just learn off the cuff. And so, one thing that I absolutely do every single session is I have a period of time where we just like get to know each other. We warm up, we kind of just shoot the breeze, we start laughing. And most of the time, too, what I will also do is I will meet all of my clients ahead of time. I don't like showing up to sessions cold. I tried that for several years and it was really hard because like everybody's like, what do I do? I don't know where to put my hands. Like I feel weird, like the whole thing. And so a lot of this ice breaking stuff I will now do ahead of time, really getting to know who my clients are. What's their family like? What do they like to do on a daily basis? What kind of things excite them? I mean, more so than just, how does your business run? What are the particulars of it? And what are all of the statistics? And then during the photo session, what's beautiful about it is that we have these touch points of commonality. And I'll often draw on those to bring out natural expressions and get candid responses to questions I'll ask or things I'll ask them to do. And so the imagery in and of itself becomes more authentic that way and not so stiff and posed. And I've had more people say, like, I didn't even realize like you were taking my picture during this moment. Like, this is great. And so that's the what I want to get from people. I want to be more in the moment. I want to capture what's happening in and around them or what they're thinking about or all of that more so than this perfectly lit, perfectly posed, perfectly composed imagery, if you will. But yeah, I would say that's probably one of the most common things is people don't like getting their picture taken. They get uncomfortable, but put that element of psychology in there and it's amazing what it'll open up.
That is the tidbit of the episode right there, is to be able to um, ice break before, and then it gives a lot more. You become known, right?
Absolutely. I'm
There,
a
the
trusted
stress
individual.
levels come
Mhm.
down. They understand that you're not there. You're there for their benefit, and makes for a great or a much better experience all around. That is fantastic. Kate, has been a fantastic conversation so
Yeah,
far. We're ready to jump into the lightning round and our
definitely.
last little bit of questions.
Sounds good.
Okay. First question, coffee or tea?
Tea, please. Hot tea.
There you go. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, please.
If you could grab only one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
That's a great question. Maybe a sword. Like to have
Okay.
that powerful thing in my hand.
Favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
Honestly, it's one from scripture, and it says, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for today has enough trouble of its own."
Yeah, I love that one.
Mhm.
One book that has influenced your life the most?
The Story Brand from Donald Miller. That one's really good.
There, it's in the shelf back here along with
I
about
love
4 of
it. I
his other
love it.
books. Yep, it was a the biggest obstacle that you have overcome and one lesson you have learned from it.
Oh, such a fantastic question. I would say biggest obstacle is fear of failure. I think as humans, we like to succeed, especially entrepreneurs. Like we want to make things happen and we're good at making things happen because we have to. If it doesn't happen, it's because we didn't do something typically. But I think that for a long time it was really easy to feel like, oh my gosh, if I fail, then I'm not going to be seen as credible in the eyes of those who are around me. But it also limits your ability to get out there and try things. And so trying to overcome that fear and honestly just being bold, going for it, figuring out what works and being okay if things don't work out and then picking yourself back up again and trying again.
Very, very good. Kate, how can any of the small business owners that are listening here that want to work with you reach out if they want to learn more?
Absolutely. They can visit my website. It's katecherry.com. That's just KATECHERRY.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, and Kate Cherry Photography is my handle. I love getting to know new people. I love hearing stories, and I love being able to give the gift of photography and the gift of imagery to anybody who comes across my path.
Excellent. It's been so great to have you on the show. And listeners out there, Kate, as they want to learn more about Kate, all of that information will be in the show notes or the description. There was nuggets of wisdom in how understanding who you're serving and working with people that understand that it can really build a strong relationship and help your business continue to thrive and grow as you need to get your images or your business out to the world. If you would like to hear more episodes from the Small Business Breakthrough Series, that podcast playlist is right up here. And until next time.